Hey freaks, what's up? So, I received some requests to make some tutorials in English, so this is my first attempt. I hope you understand me. I do my best to talk clearly, and that's it. So, as I said, I received some requests, and some of these requests are about asking for tips and visions and kind of talking about arrangements. So I decided to do it. First of all, in my opinion, arrangement is how you tell the story of your track. You can tell this story in so many ways. And so for me, the most important thing in arrangement is you have to have elements before arrange anything, because how you gonna tell a story if you don't have sounds and elements and things to talk over and make it possible. So I like to start my tracks. I like to call it my pre-arrange. So I start my tracks here in the session view. So I create themes. For me, it's easier to think about arrangement when I have themes. So I like to think about basically my Tykyra's music is based on 3 parts music. So I have a part A and part B, and often and sometimes a part C. Sometimes I have a bridge between part B and part C, but all of these are made in themes. So I create these themes before I arrange anything. So I have here, for example, I have here my kick and my first bass. And after that, I create my second theme that's a different kind of bass. And sometimes a third one or a fourth one. It depends of the track, depends of my inspiration of the day. So I have my third bass here. Can you see that they are very my bass, I always start with a rolling bass, direct, straightforward, just one note. After that, I create a variation of it, but it's still locked in the same root note, just small variations. After that, I like to create a very different one, very distinct one. And for the bridge, or for some part that I would like to break the dynamics or change the dynamics to create something very different that everything that was happened before I have this one here. So I have these 4 themes. I like to say that these 2 firsts are the same theme. I have this one and this one, so I have 3 themes. So it's not directly gonna be part A, B, or C. I can use it as I like, but I like to have it to me as elements that I could play and create new things with it. So as I create themes with the bass, I create themes with my percussion also. So as I have this one, I have a kind of hi-hats and percussions combined with the first theme. And for the second, the same. And so it goes on like this. Yes, for my percussion and snare. And as for the first one, the same thing. And so it goes. Some percussion glitch here. So I created these themes, and as I go, I create my synth parts and and leads and ambience and pads and whatever. So as it's following the same idea of themes. So elements that combine with my first one. So of course, all the elements here are not going to play at the same time, but I like to think that they are all combined already together. So I have elements that are already talking to each other when I create them. So when I when I decided to arrange them, I know that this first lead, the first glitch combines with my first bass. So I have here a different bass with a different kind of, I don't know, that I know that will combine with this one. And I have some pads maybe here. And as I said before, they are not going to play all together, but I know that this team are already combining all the elements with each other, you know. So I have this pre-arrangement that I like to call it. So after that, I go finally to the arrangement view. And then I have to say, I'm not a guy from intros. So I have, of course, I have music with great intros as a very well done work at intros, but in the most cases, they are not my kind of vibe. I don't know. That's not my thing. When I have a great idea for intros, I go there and made it. But in the most cases, I like to do very simple intros because that's it. That's who I am. So let's go. I'm not going to arrange all the track also here in this video because it's gonna be a long video, and that's not the idea. They just give some insights and give some tips how to look to the arrangement and how to can perceive this kind of movements and ideas, etc. So when I like to think, I like to separate like I don't know, maybe at most 16 bars when I made a very small intro. So I'm gonna make it here 16 bars, make a marker here and call it intro. Call it part 1 starts here. Okay. Part 1. So I like us to put my kick and bass here so I can see it where it's going to start. My bass 4 bars. I like it to make it 8 bars because make the perfect loop it. And also with my kick. So when I'm doing arrangement and when I'm doing my edits, I know that every clip of this is already on the 8 bar, like the electronic music compass, you know. And sometimes you can double it. It depends of the music, it depends of your approach of the track. Sometimes you make every change on 8 bars, sometimes you can make on 16 bars. So there's no some rigid rule about it. It depends of your artist's view of your track. So when I like to do some more introspective and more dark night music, I like to do on 16 bars, in 16 bars, because the things happen more slowly. You can make the element sounds more for longer during the track. And when I do some more fast and high-tech-ish or more fast music, that's it. But I like to use 8 bars because things happen more fast. The music changes more faster. So it depends of how you see and how you like to your mix sounds. Okay. So let's do the intro here. I would like to take a pad here. I don't know, maybe this one, crystal one here. That's huge. Crystal pad is here. Okay, not bad. And maybe I use these labs with some chords, maybe in the half. Maybe here I will do this on 16 bars every change, because I don't know, for me this kind of music sounds better like this. So, and here pad here, and here, and here, and here. Okay, so of course I like always to think about my arrangement, as I have 4 kinds of arrangement in the track. I have my kick and bass arrangement that I call it themes, but you can call it whatever you want. Like I have this kind of these 4 basses that I need to resolve this kind of problem. So when I say problem, I call it a problem, but I think that their arrangement is kind of a puzzle that you have to resolve. So if you have 4 bass, you have to resolve this puzzle of how you can connect these 4 basses, as the same as my drums and my synths. I always produce in 3 huge groups, that kick and bass, drums, and synth. So I like to think that I have the kick and bass arrangement, the drums arrangement, and my synth arrangement. Everything that's not drums and not kick and bass is on synth. So effects, leads, ambience, pads, and whatever. Is that a sound that's not drums or even not kick and bass? So they are on synths. Say that you have the arrangement of the tracks. So I have 4 lines of arrangement in my head. So I have to do this arrangement, this one, and in the end I have the arrangement, the master arrangement, as we can say, the arrangement of the final arrangement that all together create the track itself. So that's easier for me to think on that. So I can work on different layers of arrangement, and in the end think about of the whole track, the whole thing. Okay, so let's go. I have put some elements here. As I said, I create some basic, very basic. I like to organize it on the here on the timeline also, because it's easier to when you're going to mix and have to edit. It's easier to find the elements if they are already organized by time and yeah, by time and in order of they appear on the track. Okay, so as I said, I like to do very simple and very easy intros. So at here I'm gonna put some, I don't know, maybe some riser here just to match the just to create this tension and release it on the track, just to signalize that the track is going to start, the kick and bass will come. So I'm not waste some time on that, just very simple one. After we can edit and do it whatever you want. So a very simple riser with a white noise here. Okay, so the tracks is here. very simple intro. So of course, if I going to play that track, this track that I made, if I gonna release this track, of course I work so much on the intro, put some more elements, more sounds on the back, more transitioning sounds and more elements and everything else. But for this video, that's not the point, so I'm not gonna lose so much time on that. So it's more about the idea, because arrangement, there's no rule about arrangement. Arrangement, as I said at the beginning, is how you're gonna tell your story with your elements and the sounds you create. So the idea of this video is to have some insights and some what I have to watch and pay attention when I doing some arrangements. You can break these rules that I'm saying today. You can create your own rules. So the idea is just have a look over how you can organize the basic arrangement. That's the idea, the basic arrangement, because when you have the basic arrangements, like the skeleton of arrangement, and you can decide it, you can make decisions, because when you don't have it, you don't have any arrangement, you're gonna make decision based on what. So I like to create a very simple, a very raw arrangement, and after that I start to make the micro edits, put some more sounds here and this and this and that, to create more organic flows, to create more interest during the track. But I need to have this foundation, of very simple foundation, to make these decisions, to resolve these kind of problems and puzzles, as I said. Okay, so this is the basic intro. So you create your intro there and you started your track. I like to make these small gaps during the breaks, during the parts, the 8 bars part. So very simple ones. There's no problem to do, I don't know, maybe here like that. Gonna turn off this one and this one here, like something like that. And start taking these sounds off. Here, some fade out here, probably a silence here, so you can finish these parts of the intro. So this is the part 1, but the part 1 like already connected with the intro. So part 1 intro, you can call it, so it get easier to do it. So I'm gonna duplicate this. I'm gonna create a variation at the end of the bar here, just to create some difference between the bars. So I'm gonna put another one here, and here you can start to show our drums, probably. We're gonna take some glitches here that I have. And this one maybe. Very tiny, very small sound. So let's hear it. work it. I'm gonna duplicate this one, but I need another sound so we don't lose that energy that we create here with this first pads. So maybe I can come back with the simple chords here. And maybe another pad. Sorry for that. It's cold here today. So maybe this ambience, I don't know. Let's find out. Probably not. I'm gonna find another one. I have this one that I like. That can come over before. Not perfect compass on this one, so something like that, just to set the middle to make it easier to follow. You know, that's very simple. So the idea is to create that kind of puzzle, connect elements with one or with another, so you can have an idea of the track, how is it going, and probably do it like this. Probably is easier. So here and maybe here I would start to showing some track. Like this. Here, like here. So let's hear it. Some glitz that I can also put here. You can try it. Let's hear it from the beginning. said, I'm doing like double compass, like 16 bars. Not compass, because compass in Portuguese, so like bars. So double electronic bars, like I used to have 8 bars, so now I doing this music on 16 bars, at least in the beginning. So I can duplicate here these guys here, and I start to delete this one. This one will be part 1 official, and I start to delete this one. So here continues, and continues here also until this part. And probably the patch drifting also continues here, and I have more glitch to use. So I have this one. Let's create a conversation of glitch. I don't know. Let's try out. One for this side, one for that side. Take it down a little bit. So I'm gonna put a marker here. I'm gonna change it. Make it change it after that. So as I said, how can we solve the puzzle of the changes? That when I start, that's for me the hardest thing to do. So I have a lot of ideas, a lot of changes of dynamics and basses and scales and whatever. So but for me it's always been so hard to change it. So I started to do something that helps me a lot. When I like to change something, like here, that I'm going to change the bass, for example, you can change whatever you want, like the change of the themes. As I said, I like to create a 8-bar part that I call it transition. In that 8-bar part, I change the dynamics, and I change the intention of the track. So how can I do that? If you are using some percussion very fast, you can change for a very slowly percussion. As I change it here, as I use in here a very simple percussion, so I'm gonna use the layer below that's muted, and open here and take off this glitch here that I'm using, and probably look for a sound, a strange sound here on percussion. Probably this one. Okay, and take that, put that bongo here, that be part 1.2. And here I start to make very aggressive changes on the flow of the kick and bass to indicate that I'm going to change something. We don't know what, but the listener don't know what I'm going to change, but change is there happening already. So I don't know, maybe after here did something like this, create some things like that. I do the basic one, okay? You can always do that with care looking over, so do it with precision and in perfect ways, but just an example here. course I use this riser that I created before, and make a new sound, use a new sound that I didn't use it to the new part. So we're gonna use, I don't know, maybe the music box here, and why not maybe the chords that I used before. That's thing that I always like to do it, like use your elements that you used before, because as a listener, when you listen to music, the memory is always a thing that we can recall it some sound. So when you listen to music and the producer use the element one time in the beginning of the track, and after that in the middle or by the end of the track they use the element again, we always say, oh come on, I know, I remember that sound, that's fucking amazing, whoa, great. And so it's something that I like to do it, because as a listener I like to use this kind of, I like when the producer use this kind of recall sounds. So as a producer I always like to do it, because there's no rule about you can have your sound just one time on your track. So you can always use your sounds every time you repeat, and then during the tracks is a way of arrangement also, like you have the theme, you go away from the theme and suddenly you come back for the theme, like some jazz inspiration for that. It's not the same thing, but it's like the inspirational side of. So you have the theme, you use it, you have the sound, you have the chords, you have the melody, so you use it, you present the sound, and when you develop the sound, develop the track, and suddenly in the middle, by the end, or whatever you want, you recall that sound. So you use the memory as a tool for explore the experience of it. Okay, so maybe come back with the chords and the little melody here, and of course change the drums for complete. So can put here this straightforward thing here. Of course you can always filter this to filter here to create more interesting sounds, maybe here. A very common one, maybe here a different one in the middle here. No. Just to give you an example, so I'm gonna end this video now, because I have 36 minutes of a video, and I don't like to make some very long videos. So that's the basic idea. I try to come back with the part 2 of this track. Probably I will do it. So that's the things that I like to think when I start to arrange a track. So the first thing that I like to do is to create sounds. That's for me the most important. I always said that to my students. Create sounds. You need something to arrange. The arrange is the history of the track. This is how we're gonna tell the story of the track. So you have to have sounds. If you have a band, and when you try to arrange a track, you have the verse, you have the chorus, you have the bridge, you have the solo. So you're gonna decide it with your band. We will start with the verse. And after the verse, you go to a second verse, and after the second verse, you go to a chorus. After the chorus, go to a solo. Oh no, we're gonna start the music with the chorus. And after the chorus, you go to a solo, and we don't have a verse. You only have a chorus or whatever. You know, so that's the most important part for me. You need to have sounds to arrange. So create themes. You don't have to create a lot of themes just like I do. You have there's some tracks depends of you doing. So if you're doing some forest thing, some more darker, straightforward music, you can have out one theme of bass, but you have to have another sounds. You need to have another sounds because it's a 6 minute track, so you need to have at least the half track created just before. For me, that's it. I like to do like that. I like to have 20 channels, maybe 30 channels before I start to arrange, because I know that all the clips and all the loops here are already combining with each other. They are talking with each other. So I know that when I go into arrange, I just need to decide it to resolve this puzzle of who comes first and who comes after, who gonna sound with who. These sounds combined with this better than with this, but they are all combining together. So I like to think that my theme is where the place I like to reach. The theme is my chorus, I like to say. So if I have this one huge theme, so this is the place that I need to reach during my music, this peak of energy, this peak of elements. So for me is the most important thing. So have these variations of dynamics of elements, more busy parts, more melodic ones, more ethereal other ones, more padish, more leadish. I don't know, depends of your music, but for me is the most important. For me it's impossible to arrange directly here, create sounds here and arrange directly here. It doesn't work for me. So after that, the other thing that I consider very important so is that the transitions parts. If you like to change your music for another bass, for another, I don't know, for another part, for a break, or for whatever you want, that's gonna be a huge change in your track. So take some bars to do it, this change it. Take some bars to show that you are going to change it, to prepare the listener and to prepare your music. um, that's about music. You have to prepare for a change, harmonically or melodically, I don't know, but you have this preparation before the change it happens. Of course this track's not perfect. Of course this is just a raw example, but the purpose of this video is to give you some insights and the ideas how to can solve this kind of things. So if you're gonna do a transition of bass, a transition of dynamics, spare some 8 bars, maybe 16 bars to do these changes. Create this tension, create this part that's going to break down to another one, take off elements, taking in some other ones, and when you resolve this, you have your new part. So when you have a new part, you can decide it if you're going to arrange it as progressively as you go to showing your elements one by one, or you're going to go full power with all the energy and elements that you like to. So it depends of what you're doing. If you're doing more progressively sound, it doesn't need to be a prog trance sound, but it's is a vision of the track. If I do some right high tech or psycore, that's straightforward, full power all the time. You don't need to go to progressively showing the elements. You can come for this transition with all together, you know. But that's it. That's my first video. I hope you guys understand me. That's my first ever video made in English. I never teach before in England in English, so I don't know. Hope you like it. I'm not going to listen myself because I maybe feel ashamed of myself, of my English. I don't know. Hope you guys like it, and hope the guys who asked me for this like it also. And my idea is just to help. So if you need some doubts and any advices, or I don't know, any insights about it, feel free to reach me. And that's it. Thank you guys. See you soon.